welcome back to Madness in the Method, the podcast where we talk about Nicolas Cage, nothing but Nicolas Cage, and only Nicolas Cage, exclusively about Nicolas Cage. And in this episode, we are talking about the, 2001?
2001.
Yeah, 2001 war drama, Captain CORELLI'S Mandolin. Starring, well, Nicolas Cage and, what's his name? John Hurt, Penelope Cruz, and some other people. Directed by John Madden, written by Sean Slovo, based on a novel by Louis de Bernière. Had you seen this movie before, Christopher?
So, no introduction today?
No, I forgot about the introduction, and we're just gonna fucking roll on.
Well, at this point, people probably know I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. No,
hello,
hello. No, I have not seen this movie before, and I haven't really heard about it either. But you had heard about it.
Yes, we mentioned that briefly in the last episode. I'd heard about it. I'd seen, trailers and probably seen, ads for it on TV when it was gonna air on TV and stuff. And also, my neighbor, or now my parents' neighbor, but when I heard it was my neighbor, he had mentioned it at some point many, many, many years ago that this was his favorite movie. And I mean, he wasn't like a big film buff or anything. He never talked about movies except for this, and that was only once, so I don't know. But at least that was that's my my memory of the movie was like, oh, at least someone fucking loved it, so it can't be terrible.
So, before we go any further, without saying anything else, do you understand him?
Oh yeah, sure, definitely. Yeah. I can see why someone would love this movie.
It's not that you now is, how the fuck could he think that?
What a moron! Yeah, no, it's not that, yeah. But I'll ask you first. What did you think of Captain CORELLI'S Mandolin?
So, first off, it's a world movie, a Second World War movie, and I think this is one of the best, or even, I think it's top 3 war movies, at least. Oh, about the Second World War.
Really?
Yeah. So because there's no fucking Americans coming in to save the day, and that's refreshing. But yeah, I thought it was a good movie, I'd say. Not an amazing movie, not a masterpiece, but it's a good movie, good solid movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
And you?
I'd have to agree. It's not great, but it's good, and I enjoyed it, even though I did fall asleep. But that's just how I do with movies nowadays. But I did watch the whole thing eventually. It's very. We've talked about this, but in a negative way, saying like it's very middle of the road. But here, it's not a bad thing. It's just it's not great and it's not terrible. It's just it was a nice. Warm, fuzzy feeling love story taking place during wartime. Kind of refreshing to not have that much war actually in the movie. It's only like one 5-10 minute sequence where there's actual war going on.
Yeah, and I think that this movie really did great, which you don't see that often, is just how much war can just destroy people that aren't even in the war.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just on the sidelines, and they're just fucked royally by war.
Yeah, it shows how it affected people even who weren't even in the war.
Yeah, and it's not anywhere really glorifying it or making it fun or cool in any way.
No.
That war scene that you mentioned, that is the only one who is the battle. There's no cool scene. No one does anything cool or really good. We're making a stand and we all die, sort of.
Yeah.
And it's but you did a dent in the Russian or the German front. No, you didn't.
Not really. Yeah, and even after that, like every violent scene after that, because there are a few they execute some prisoners and stuff, but it's not really war. It's all made. It shows like how horrific the war was, even in a place where the war barely happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed that part. Other than that, like the only complaints was that I thought it was kind of the first up until that war scene, which is about halfway through. It was a little bit like toothless. Like it wasn't like amazing like romantic drama where you were swept away in the emotions of these characters. And it also wasn't like, it was kind of funny, but it wasn't like, haha, oh my god, it's so funny. It was all, it was all kind of, it's fine. Like it's the very definition of an okay movie.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but that's not how I read it, sort of.
Okay.
Because I didn't really watch this movie as a movie. I was very fast drawn into the story of just people, and it's very realistic, and there's no, because it is sort of like life. There is no super cool, amazing things that happens. It's just people living their life, and things happen, sort of. And yeah, if you're not engaged in it, or if the movie doesn't make you engaged in it, I can see if it's kind of boring and kind of meh. But I gotta say, I was engaged, and I sort of cared about all the people, even the side characters who barely have speaking roles. And also, it did have a sense of this island or this town sort of was its own character,
Oh, definitely.
And
yeah.
I don't know. I was engaged, and I thought it was good.
Yeah. I agree with all that. It's just that it didn't. I agree with everything you're saying. Every point. It's just it didn't hit me as hard on like an engaging or an emotional level. It was just like this is very interesting. These are good characters, good character building, good world building, or whatever you want to call it. Like you said, like the island and the town and the townsfolk become, their own kind of entity and their own thing. They're all. It feels very lived in, very real, which it helps because it was actually shot on Kefalonia, and all the Greek characters except for John Hurt and Penelope Cruz, of course, are all played by Greek actors
and Christian Bale.
And Christian Bale, sorry, yeah. So the big stars are not, because you need that the Hollywood star power, of course. But everyone else is, Greek actors. Same thing with the Italian actors. Everyone except Nicolas Cage, who I guess he has Italian heritage at least. And then I think there's one more who wasn't Italian. But it felt genuine, and the fact that the book, the writer. He was very meticulous to capture every little detail of these events, the war and then the post-war earthquake that happened right after the war ended, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think that translates very well to the screen. Everything feels very detailed and meticulous, to the point though where it feels like they're sacrificing a little bit of the 3-act structure, because. When the war ends, and spoilers, I guess, Antonio, Nicolas Cage character, has to go home, or he has to flee home to not be killed by the Nazis. I was like, that feels kind of like an ending, somewhere there, around that, the festival they have, or whatever it is, like somewhere there it could end. But then in the last 10 minutes, you have an earthquake. Like, what? Oh, okay. But it's because it happened, and because the book is more of an historical retelling than a novel or like a romance, So
yeah,
it was so interesting, but for me that took away a little bit from the movie feeling, which I enjoy in a movie.
Yeah, I gotta say the ending of the movie, I liked it. I really liked it. But there are some... It sort of, as you said, it sacrificed a lot of the structure of how a movie should be told, sort of. I say that's that's probably because they took a lot of liberties with the ending from the book.
Okay.
So I haven't read the book, but I read synopsis of the book, and in the book, there's like this whole part of the movie how Pelagia, the Penelope Cruz character, lives on without Corelli, and life settles back to normal. And Corelli never returns, and then the earthquake happens, and which kills her father. And there's a lot of those things. It just keeps on the life of her. And then the spoilers the book, I guess.
I guess.
In the book, there's like it just goes on for way longer, and Antonio Corelli returns as when they're both old. And they have like this ending sort of.
Yeah, so it is more. He is maybe like the what do you call it? The knytpunkt, whatever you call it in English. The thing that kind of holds the story together, but it's really a story about the characters on the island and what happened to them.
And in the push of making a happy ending and making a movie, they sort of just push all of those important things into like 15 minutes.
Yeah, because there's like a short montage where she becomes a doctor, or she's in training to be a doctor, and everyone's just happy, and then, oh my god, a fucking earthquake! Oh, okay, everyone's fine, or I guess most people are fine, and oh look, there's Captain Corelli! Yay, happy ending, and then it's all over. They shortened that, like, I guess, like the last 100 pages of the book or something.
Yeah, because apparently
understandable.
Yeah, so because the little girl that they take
Lemony.
In the movie, that is sort of when Corelli returns but sees the child and thinks that Pelagia got married and got a child, and then he fucks off and returns when he's old. And it's a lot of those things.
Yeah, that's sad. Okay, I can see why they changed that.
But again, I don't think you could cut out the earthquake, because then people would be. That's a big thing in the book, so you can't just cut it out. Even
and it was a big thing in history.
Yeah, even in the movie, it doesn't really have anything to do with it.
No.
So the ending is a little wonky, but I think it still works.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a little bit of that in like the first act of the movie as well. It feels like they're cutting some corners, not a lot, but some corners. And I mean, not that it ruins the movie, but you can, for me at least, it lessened the engagement into the movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But I think the story is good. It's one of the first for a while now, since we in this podcast, where we have a love story that isn't just ham-fistedly pushed into it.
Yeah, it's the focus of the story, and so they take their time with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that this movie did that very well, with not just having, they had like a war story and love story, and none of them seemed, well, for me at least, none of them had full focus. They both got the time they both needed, the both stories.
Yeah.
Which made it feel genuine. Because they could have as easily have done just, it's a love story. Oh, and also there's a war. But the love story is the point.
That it's focused more on the fighting, and Penelope Cruz shows up sometimes to smooch with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. So I think that's it did that very well.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. It was a little the whole love triangle thing with Christian Bale and the two of them. It was a little smarmy here and there, but I mean it's still a movie, So, but I think they handle it for the most part pretty well.
Yeah, and I did think that's my first thought for the before Christian Bale's character. What is it called? Mandras, right? Mandras. Before he leaves for the war, the first time.
Yeah.
I think I did not like his character at all. I didn't even notice it was Christian Bale. For the longest time.
It took me a little while to notice it.
He was just a guy who was a guy. There was no personality. There was nothing there.
No, yeah.
Because we've been following like Pelagia and the Doctor for so long, and they're like main folks, and they get very in-depth character introductions of these are characters. They work in this way, and it's very believable. And then we have Christian Bale, who's just a guy, and
he just shows up and starts dancing with her, and then 5 minutes later they're engaged. Then he goes off to war.
Yeah, and it's just what's this?
He disappears from the movie.
But then he returns from the war and he's sort of a changed man. And I think that's pretty good storytelling, that he got changed by the war.
Yeah.
And he realized that it wasn't just fun and games, and he didn't just like pass the time with this girl. He really loved her, and it's this big thing. And I think was very well portrayed.
I wish we had a little more time, even though the love triangle is a little it's a little not silly, but yeah, smarmy, schmaltzy. It still needed. I thought it needed a little more time to kind of develop, because when he comes back, he's barely part of the love triangle. There's just this feeling hanging over Corelli and Pelagia, like, but what about the guy you were engaged with before he left? Like, and it takes a while for them to resolve that, and Christian Bale's character is barely in it during that time, it feels like.
Yeah, but I think that's good, because that's sort of how these things work. Like, he comes back hoping for this grand love that he has just sort of lived for, and got him through the war, and meanwhile she fell out of love, realized it wasn't a big thing for her. She, as the Doctor says, it's just temporary insanity, and it's just and now she has found the real love, and when he comes back, and it's just this thing that happens, and I think they portray it very well. And as you said, it's not a movie. That's not how movies should do it, but it's how life works.
Yeah, well,
you don't in life you don't really have these passionate jealousy dramas. That's not really.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Okay, I'm sorry. But I mean, I like that. I like that.
And I like that. Instead of him like becoming a villain in the movie, basically, he kind of sees that even though he loves Playa, she kind of fell out of love with him, and he accepts that because he loves her, and that's, he wants her to be happy. So that's why he saves Corelli when he is on death's door. And, it's nice. It's which I guess is kind of realistic. I don't know. I've never been in a life and death situation like that, but I'm hoping people would react that way.
Yeah, and just when he saved Corelli, it was a selfish, last-ditch, desperate effort. It's not this in a regular movie, we've put it like that, or a normal movie.
Yeah.
When she asked him, "Why did you bring him back? Why did you save him?" Then he would have said, "Because I love you and I want to see you happy." But no, in this movie he says,
yeah, he confesses that it was partly selfish.
Yeah, I just want you to love me again.
Yeah.
I tried. I did.
No, you know what they would have done in a movie? When he walks up to Corelli and sees that he's alive, he would have just put his hand over his mouth and said shh, 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 and killed him, and you could see his eyes glow red, and then it would carry the corpse and say, "Pelaya, I found him, but he's dead. I'm sorry. Please love me."
Well, that wouldn't have made a good ending if they got together then, right?
Exactly, because that would turn him into a villain. But that's how you portray the other lover in the triangle in movies. So I'm happy they didn't do that.
Yeah, and the same thing when she actually breaks off the engagement. It is a very solemn, quiet scene.
Yeah,
there's no screaming, no raging, just I get it.
It's a little though, like she was going there. She's a little hesitant to talk to Mandra's mother, but she's like, well, rather her than him, I suppose. Like, okay, I've been thinking over this, and then she's like, oh fuck, he's standing right behind me, isn't he? I was like, Madras, listen.
No, I wasn't. Not that scene. The one when she leaves the ring.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the movie.
Oh, okay.
When he's sitting on the bed and just he looks completely defeated, and she's just given up.
But that's the same scene where they talk about him being selfish, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the same scene of that, but it's not the scene where she breaks off the engagement.
No,
when she leaves the ring. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That's good too. It was in my head the scene where he comes back. It was slightly humorous because she was like, oh shit, fuck. All right, listen.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this movie. These small scenes with with 2 or 3 characters just talking, and as we talked a lot before, just reacting to each other, and it's very well put together. Another scene it's not a quiet scene really, but the build up and the scene, the details up to the scene, but when they drag off the woman and hang her,
yeah. She's a
and
traitor and a whore.
Yeah, because she kissed a Nazi on the cheek.
Yeah, and that was kind of.
It was very horrible.
Very dark.
It was
and I was like, dark. Oh, that sucks. But then they fucking hanged. I was like, I said that like out loud. Oh shit, they hanged her.
Yeah, me too. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, the small details which could have just been thrown away, really, on the cutting room floor of when they just see these things and just watch her. You have these small cutaways throughout the movies where these 2 men just watch this girl with hatred, and then as soon as they get the chance, they just fucking drag her off and hang her.
A woman they've known their entire life, but she kissed a guy on the cheek, so now they're gonna hang her. Like, Jesus Christ!
And all of these things is very effectful and very again, well put together.
Like when the movie gets dark, it got real dark for a little while.
Yeah. And that's what made this movie work. It is dark in war. We have no heroes. We have just people, and even with that, they sort of gave the Nazi character sort of a depth, and you almost felt bad for him at points. Because he has like a. It's a very short scene. I don't know. People are probably saying like, no, they're trying to fix Nazism in one scene, but that's not really it. They're just trying to change that one person when they talk about, oh, but it's science. These people are beneath me, and he says, no, I don't see people as different. Yeah.
And you can see him act like in his face. What the guy's name? He's the actor from Walking Dead.
David Morrissey.
Right, David Morrissey. You can definitely tell on his expression, like he starts like the wheels start spinning in his head, like that kind of makes sense. But he's been programmed by the Nazis to not think that, so he's like struggling, and then that's why in the end he is very reluctant when they're executing the Italian soldiers. I was like, once again, that would probably be more of a dramatic war movie thing, but that he would like when he's trying to shoot Nicolas Cage, he would like finally just turn the gun on himself instead, but he didn't. It was good. Yeah. Once again, good, more realistic than it didn't.
Yeah, but still, he's a Nazi though, so fuck that.
Yeah, that's the problem. But I well-written character, because I stopped seeing him as a Nazi towards the end and saw him as a person.
Well, I did too. Then I remembered he was a Nazi. So I started to feel bad, and then I remembered, no, but it's a Nazi though. You can't feel bad about Nazis.
Hey, you know what? I agree. We shouldn't feel bad for Nazis. I actually agree.
Today's hot take.
Yeah, we shouldn't feel bad about Nazis. Yeah, or for Nazis or whatever.
That's the message of this movie.
Yeah. You know what?
So, see you again next week, guys.
Bye.
But yeah, so it was, every character was really very well written and very well acted, except maybe one character.
Oh?
Nicolas Cage had a very bad accent in this movie.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Which he forgot a few moments too.
I didn't notice that, but let's talk about that because I looked over the reviews for this movie, and it got some pretty good reviews, but it also got some like horrific reviews, like almost down at like a 0 points. And it feels like a lot of the problem stems from like people don't liking the accents. And I'm like, sure. First of all, Greek accent is really hard to do. Especially if you're just an actor, you know, who is British or American.
Yeah, it's not an accent that you hear a lot, or...
Yeah, exactly. It's this kind of, it's like a mix of like, it's like that classic like Spanish and Middle Eastern, and there's a little almost like obviously Mediterranean in there. Super hard to do. So I don't blame John Hurt for just doing, I am Middle European accent guy, you know. And I mean, as you see when you watch the credits, like except for the 4 or 5 main characters, they're all actors from speaking the actual language, you know, that they're doing in the movie. So I don't see what the big problem is with the accents, really. Sure, sometimes it sounds a little generic, but for that, I glossed that over because I was engaged enough in the story to not care about that. It was in my mind all the time because I had read it, but I didn't care about it. I thought like that's a small thing to nitpick, in my opinion at least.
Yeah, I agree, but just specifically Nicolas Cage, because the other actors, it's fine, because again, Hurt, he sort of barely did an accent, and that works fine.
Penelope Cruz did a Spanish accent, basically,
and that's,
which
again,
kind of reminds you of Greek if you listen to the weird S's and shit.
Yeah,
but, you know,
it's fine. But I think Nicolas Cage was not fine. It was so unnatural, and again, he wasn't consistent with it. Some scenes there's a lot of accent, some scenes no, not a little accent, some scenes no accent at all, and it's just very just up and down. What I notice is that he can't act and put on that accent at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
Every time he starts like screaming or having high or big emotions, he just drops the accent completely. And that sort of took me out of the movie sometimes. And I was very immersed in the movie. But just his accent was a problem for me. The other people, it's fine. And I think it would have been fine if he just talked American. It would have been weird.
It would have been weird because he would have been the only one then.
Yeah, it would have been weird, but it wouldn't have, like, ruined anything. It's the same thing that they're actually talking English.
Yeah.
Sometimes for some reason. And yeah, so
small problem for me.
But I thought he did he did a lot of good acting, a lot of bad acting. He was very good at being angry and bitter and sad. He was mediocre at best at being happy. I felt.
I thought he was. He wasn't. He wasn't like we usually talk about him always giving 110%. I'd say he was like at an 80 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't giving it his all, but I think I didn't think he was particularly bad in any scene.
There was just these moments where he. In the beginning of the movie, or when he arrives at the island, the first few scenes with him, when he's in the doctor office, and he's supposed to be like this happy, jolly guy, playing against these people who are super angry and hating him actively.
Yeah, sure.
And you just see him not being able to handle that depth, and he's just, well, I guess I'm super happy. Whoa, it's very animated. And
but do you think that might be not Nicolas Cage, but Antonio Corelli putting on a scene for these people? Because, he is invading their island, technically. So he's just trying, oh, don't worry about me. I'm the nice guy who is invading your country.
Well, I don't think so, because that is sort of his big character development, realizing that, oh, I am the aggressor. I am the invader. I thought we were just coming over here for having a vacation, having a nice time with the locals. But they seem to hate me for some weird reason. I don't understand it. And then the more it goes on, and when she sort of chastises him for, well, my friends has died because of you. And he's like, oh, I sort of get it now. I didn't get it before. So, I mean, if it is the character putting on a show, then the whole character development just falls. So I can't believe that's the intention. Maybe it's the intention of Nicolas Cage before he read the rest of the script. I don't know.
No, but I'm not saying like he's like being sinister the whole movie, but I'm like he knows, even though he's not there himself personally to invade Greece or Kefalonia, he knows why the Italians are there. They're allied with the Nazis who are invading Greece. And he's just trying to, diminish the what's it called?
The impact.
The impact of it. Yeah, we're here to take over, but hey, I'm the good guy.
Take over in a nice way.
Yeah, we'll sing songs and we'll drink wine and if you act up, we'll shoot you, but hopefully we won't have to do that. That kind of sort of like in a lot of movies. Speaking of World War II movies, where the Nazis are they're acting very fake nice to people, I don't know, Jojo Rabbit when the SS soldiers.
I haven't seen that movie, so.
Oh, that's a good one. That's another one where war. You see the horrors of war for people who are not actually in the war. It's actually a pretty good movie. Either way, this is a scene where the SS comes to search his house, and he's German and his family's German, so they suspect him of hiding a Jew in there, so they're being fake nice to him, because I mean they don't really care that he's German. They'll kill him as a traitor, but they're always trying to we're not the bad guys. That's usually how the Nazis acted. They knew they were the bad guys, so they tried we're not the bad guys, and trying to put on airs, not airs, but trying to put on a show almost. I felt he was kind of that in the beginning. He knew that he was there as the aggressor, but don't worry, I'm a nice aggressor. That kind of way.
Well, maybe.
So I read it at least.
I read it just bad acting.
Okay.
But I mean, it's I guess
Nicolas
it's
Cage
possible.
bad acting? No.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, the way we have discussed him the last few episodes, I don't really see him anymore. Any of his acting as being bad, except for Firebirds, but that's another.
Yeah,
I
definitely see him as he's a good actor. He's definitely a good actor. I would say. Maybe not. Probably one of the best. Not top 3, but one of the best actors.
No, but I mean, also even when he feels his performance feels weird or it doesn't really fit, that it's a conscious choice.
Yeah.
And sure you can. Since it's subjective, so of course you can criticize it. But as long as it is his conscious choice to act that way, did he really fail? Because it's art,
Well, yeah, but in this movie, I think he was worse than he usually is.
Sure. I am over analyzing a little bit, but
well, no, you went straight into the philosophical terms of the thing. Can anyone ever be bad actor, really? If they intend to do it that way, is that actually bad?
Well, I saw the first half hour of Sky Sharks yesterday, and yes, there are people who are just bad at acting. So I'm not
but if
saying
that was a conscious effort to be a bad
no. It was the conscious effort to do a great characterization, and they failed spectacularly. There's a difference between a conscious choice and just being bad at acting. I'm not saying that it isn't. Anyway.
But yeah, so I think this is not his best acting.
Oh, sure, no. I'm not saying that either, yeah.
And he's, at times, subpar, but usually he's pretty good. He's pretty good at, again, at the sad scenes and the angry scenes. I think he did that very well. Just the pure shock and anger when his fellow Italians are gunned down when they are handing over the weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Very believable.
Very, very good, yeah.
So yeah, it's up and down for him. But I think the rest of the cast was... I would say they were real spot on throughout the movie.
Yeah.
No one really stood out. Except maybe, again, the accents, but
Yeah. It's fine.
Things like that happen.
Yeah, and it's always gonna be something you have to look past when they're doing accents, and especially then Greek, because it's very hard, and especially Italian, because even when a real Italian speaks in English, it sounds like they're doing the stereotypical Italian, like they're mocking themselves, because that's what Italian sounds like. You just can't get around that. It's very hard to do sorry if I'm offending any Italians, but it's very hard to do a dignified Italian accent when you're speaking in English.
Sort of like trying to make a dignified Swedish accent.
Yeah, it just sounds weird.
Yeah.
Because Italian is it's naturally a little goofy sounding in English.
Stop offending
I'm sorry.
Italy.
Also, the entire world has been brainwashed by Super Mario. That's the first thing you think of when you hear Italian accents in English. You hear, hello, it's me, Mario. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry, said, keep insulting them.
Anyway.
But yeah, you talked about some horrendous reviews. Did you have any? Did you have any prepared?
Yes, we can read here. I didn't read the whole thing. I took it away. Where did it go? Here it is. The best it got was an 80 out of 100. This is, as always, Metacritic, so the score is between 0 and 100. It was from TV Guide magazine, so I'm guessing that might be a few years after the movie came out.
Yeah.
But the able cast brings these emotionally complex characters to life while making Sean Slovo's occasionally lyrical dialogue sound perfectly natural, which I agree with. But then it got a few good reviews, and I think if it wasn't for the really, really terrible reviews at the bottom, this would be scored much higher, because as it is, it has a Metascore of 36. Oof. That's terrible. It's lower than a 4, and 4 is bad. So, and there's a bunch of middling reviews, 60 and 50 and 40. That's somewhere where I would probably land. But then you get down and there's a bunch of reviews that giving 30, 20, all the way down to 10.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
Let's see if I can read the full review. But the blurb is from Slate. And it says, probably the most horrifying stuff I've seen all week. And let's see if I can read the whole thing. It seems like it's... nope. It's not available anymore. But that's the review, so to speak. He just thought it was the most horrifying thing he's seen. I'm did we watch the same movie? It's pretty harmless, isn't it? How is this the worst thing you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Have you watched movies?
Yeah, I was reading some user reviews, and they're pretty favorable. A lot of 8s, 7s, few 10 out of 10s.
He has like a 5.9 on IMDb, which is fair, and then on Letterboxd, it's rated like 2.5 to 3 stars. It's the same basically.
But there are a few ones here too. So there's one I found, which is just, it seems, I don't know, like purposely missing the point, sort of, or concentrating on the wrong things. It says, Cage Italian accent is miserable. As we said, that's not a big thing. Then it said, the love story is contrived. Well, I mean,
I had some reviews saying that also, that it's kind of cliched.
Yeah,
the whole movie's full of cliches, and it is. That's part of why I wasn't super engaged. But I mean, I think they handle the cliches well.
Yeah, exactly. There are cliches, but there are always cliches in love stories. All love stories is sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think this was, I wouldn't say it was new and fresh, but it wasn't boring. It wasn't like, I've seen this 1,000 times. You know, the part when your boyfriend goes off to war and you fall in love with the other side. You know.
Yeah,
that
you know, the old tale.
Yeah. And then keeping this review is, that is it. The war is ridiculously glossed over. Yeah, that's sort of the point.
They're on.
They're
on like
in
a remote
war.
island in Greek. There wasn't that much fighting over there. Like,
yeah, so that's like the first part of review, and then this one was one of those movies that was so bad that I kept watching out of shock, just to see how low it could go. Then I found out Cage survived more than 40 machine gun rounds from a German MG38. I don't care if someone shielded him. Bullets go through people, especially machine gun bullets. I mean, we can only be expected to believe so much. Just plain bad. Certainly one of the worst war movies I've ever seen. Guy, it's not a war movie.
Yeah, and that's like we talked. That's nitpicking. Like he was inches away from death, but he didn't die. Get over it.
And this is, as we talked about before, you flavor your score based on what you think you're going in for. This guy was going in for a war movie. He thought this was a war movie, and how did he think that? I don't know, because if you look at the poster and you read about the synopsis, it only says during World War II. So, but again, if you go into this expecting like Private Ryan, Rescue Private Ryan, of course you're gonna think this movie was bad.
Yeah, but then I don't know, like, he must have, like, just had, like, blinders on, because, you see the poster, it's like, it's them kissing, it's super, super schmaltzy. Yeah. The text is about, like, she falls in love with the wrong man, basically. Yeah. And the trailer looks like a vacation drama. Like, what was he expecting?
But so that was the funniest review I found. But there's a lot of reviews, and most of them are saying the worst reviews are saying bad accents, boring movie, skip it. That's sort of what everyone's saying. Yeah. And I, sure. If you, again, I can see if you think this is boring. Some people think love stories are boring, and this is not a fast-paced rom-com. This is a pure romantic drama, with very, very few even coincidental jokes.
Yeah.
So I get that, and as we said several times now, the accents is not a movie-breaking thing.
Exactly. It's bad, but like if you're gonna focus on the accents, well, I'm sorry, like. You gotta get over it, because there are gonna be accents all over the place.
Yeah. That's
just how it is. Like,
but everyone else seems to, people who are not focusing on those things are pretty favorable. There's, as I said, a lot of 8s, a few 7s, a few 10s. So so on IMDb, it has a 5.6, I think, 5.9, which is a little low, I'd say.
Yeah, I would to kind of reveal my scoring for later. That's kind of where I would put it later on. Somewhere in there. I was looking over like if it won any awards or anything, and this is just a quick aside because I saw it was nominated for a Razzie. I was like, oh shit, oh fuck, and it was Penelope Cruz was nominated for Worst Actress. She's like, okay, yeah, this wasn't her greatest performance, but she was still good. She's always good.
Yeah.
But then when you look at what she's nominated for, it's not Captain Corelli'S Mandolin, it's Blow and Vanilla Sky, which came out the year before. So I don't know.
Okay.
But it's under the nominations and awards for this movie, so I don't know, maybe something gone wrong. But anyway, I was wanting to notice
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, same thing here. She was nominated for a Stinker Award. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? The Stinker's Bad Movie Awards. Once again, Worst Actress, Penelope Cruz, but for Blow and Vanilla Sky. So I don't know. I don't understand, but whatever. Let's skip that.
Yeah, let's just.
She was terrible in these two other movies, so we'll nominate her for this other one. Okay.
Oh, wait. I think she got nominated for all 3 movies.
Oh, okay. Well,
because if you go into the Blow, it says Worst Actress for Captain Corelli'S Mandolin and Vanilla Sky.
Okay. So she was terrible in all 3?
I don't know how Razzies work, if they just nominate for movies made.
Razzies,
sometime.
they kind of make up their awards every year. It's not like an official, like, these are the awards we're going to give out.
Yeah, the Razzies who gave this year the Bruce Willis Award, right?
I haven't kept up with the Razzies.
No, I think it was
Did
them.
they?
I think it was the Razzies. It was I think it was them who made a whole category of worst Bruce Willis movies.
Oh no.
I think it was because he made like 10 or something.
Yeah, he made a bunch of movies, but know, it's been, we found out why. I don't know if you've heard.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Yeah, sure. So still, movies are still terrible, but at least we have an explanation.
Yeah. Apparently, they removed the category for the recent news.
Yeah. Well, I found a CNN thing from February the 7th this year, and there they have worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie.
Yeah.
And he's nominated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, but again, they reversed it after the recent.
Yeah, because it's not.
That's sort of bad taste.
Yeah. Anyway, Captain Corelli'S Mandolin.
That movie. But yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty good movie. Very good war movies, but I hate war movies, so.
Yeah, I would almost hesitate to call it a war movie, though.
Yeah, it's
more of a it's set during World War II. It's kind of like, I forget it. It's a joke about my grandfather died in. No, hey, it's The Hangover. When Zach Galifianakis says, "Oh, my grandfather died in World War II." Oh my God, was he shot by a Nazi? No, he was skiing, but it was during World War II. So
yeah.
It's just set during World War II. It's not really a war movie.
Yeah, that's true. I take back what I said. It's not a good war movie.
Yeah.
But it's a good love story, and if you'd like love stories, I would definitely recommend this one.
Oh yeah.
One movie I was thinking of. It's not as that is not a dark movie and a stretch of imagination as this one. But I was thinking this was very. It has some resemblance to Chocolat. Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since it was new, which is basically the same time as this, right?
Yeah,
it was like one of the first DVDs we as a family bought.
Yeah.
I saw it once back then, and I was like, man, Johnny Depp is cool.
Yeah.
And that's about all I remember from that movie.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like Chocolat, I think you'd like this movie.
Yeah. Okay. One final thing though, I gotta ask, because the movie has like a little end title card where it says like, in memory of all the Kefalonians who died in World War II and during the post-war earthquake, and looking at how the book was written, that it's more of a tale of this town or this island during a longer period of time. Do you think this movie would have worked better as like more of an epic, like having 3 times as many townsfolk, and like focusing, like having the focus be the town and the island of Kefalonia, and just having the center of the story being the love story, but really focusing on everything even more. Maybe like I don't know if you've seen like Heaven's Gate, the Michael Cimino movie, like making it like a big, grand, epic movie. And maybe then focusing a little more on the war atrocities, of course, because, you know, it focuses on everything more, I suppose.
I mean, it's hard to say. I would say it would work as a, what do you call it? Ensemble movie? Is that what you call it? No.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm thinking Michael Cimino was speaking more like The Deer Hunter, because it's a big epic war movie, but at the heart of it, it's a love story.
Yeah, because I'm thinking sort of like Magnolia, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe this love story is taking sort of it doesn't take a back seat, but we have a few other stories that is as big as it.
Exactly, and instead of 2 hours, it's like 3 hours long.
Yeah,
so a proper like epic.
Yeah,
and then you could almost call it like a like World War II epic if you want to.
Yeah, I think yes, it could work, but it would require so much rewrites that it wouldn't even be the same story anymore.
Oh no, sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I think it could be the same story. You would just have to expand it.
Yeah, but I mean, expanding so much. The way I'm thinking of it, if you put like, say we have like 5 or 4 characters that we are following, and we just cut between them, as in Magnolia and those movies.
Yeah.
And we can maybe Christian Bale's character is one person. We see him in the war, and we see him coming back.
Yeah. And when he's like the rebel hanging out in the ruins and stuff.
Yeah, and then Nicolas Cage is one character, and then we can have a few other people. Maybe see the guys who hang the girl and see their story.
Expand the German guy and the Greek girl's like romance or something.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, yeah, it could work, but then we need to expand so much and create so much more material that it's. I don't think it would work. Because from a writing perspective, because I think at that point you would take so many shortcuts and do so many more changes to the history that it wouldn't be realistic, or it wouldn't be historically accurate anymore, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, it could definitely work, but it would be a completely different movie who would work in a different way. And at that point, sort of as we talk a lot about in gaming, why would you put that name on this? Just make it a new game.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say in that case here, yeah, this could work to have the book could work as a start to make another movie, but it would be so different that it wouldn't. Why put this name on it? Then it would be something else.
Okay, because that's kind of the vibe I got from what little I read about the book. That the book is more expansive and a little grander in scale. So maybe if they just translated the book more literally, it could work.
Yeah, again, I haven't read the book, so I could be wrong. Maybe it would have given the book more. It would have been a better interpretation.
Adaptation, yeah.
Adaptation. But I don't know. So I would say, maybe. But I think it works as it is. So it's not something. Yeah. It's not something I think they should have done this. But if the question is, would it work? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was actually I I don't think they should have, but I was just thinking, because if it sometimes had that feeling of like an old 70s like epic, especially that last shot with the whole town just walking down that winding road. And I was like, man, this reminds me of like those big ass movies like David Lean or Michael Cimino or Bernardo Bertolucci did. So that's where I got the idea from. So I had to ask. I don't really have much else to say about it, because there's not much to talk about, like, in terms of themes and subtext. It's a pretty straightforward movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, should we go to scoring and wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I have anything more to add. So yeah. What would we give it?
Yeah, like I kind of said before, I was hovering between a 5 and a 6, but I think I would have to give it a 6. Like it's not great, but it's definitely enjoyable. It's a strong 6.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give it actually a weak 8.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it's like a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. For what it is, I would say it's a great movie. Again, yeah. I started out saying it's a great movie, not a masterpiece, but it is a great movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't fully agree, but sure. Yeah, but I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not maybe not the first thing you'll think about when you think of the early 2000s Nicolas Cage, but it's
No.
it's not bad. However, just to move on here, next week we're doing the 2002 John Woo movie Wind Talkers, which is, I think that's John Woo's third Hollywood movie. He did Broken Arrow and, of course, Face Off that we talked about. By the way, I watched Broken Arrow recently for the first time, just to see. Yeah. It's basically like a prototype for Face Off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it was pretty bad, but like in a cheesy, fun way. However, Wind Talkers, have you seen that before?
No, I have not seen it. I saw the poster and saw that looks like a war movie, and then I never saw it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because it's a war movie made by John Woo, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it's great, but it's interesting.
Okay.
But then we'll talk more about that in the next episode.
So yeah, that's next week. Yeah. So 2001, Nicolas Cage only made one movie, and that was Captain CORELLI'S Mandolin.
Yeah.
So next week is Wind Talkers, and that's 2002. And in 2002, he made Wind Talkers and Adaptation.
That's what I'm looking forward to. I've heard a lot of good about that one.
Yeah. We'll see what you think about it.
Yeah. So if you want to follow along next week, be sure to check out Wind Talkers. And also, if you want to listen to all these episodes in advance or get early access to them, check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene, where you also get extra episodes to my other podcast, the Spoilercast. You get monthly commentary tracks, you get early access to videos and stuff. It's a bunch of stuff for just $3 a month, so please consider supporting us in our independent podcast endeavors. But other than that, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit the follow or like or wherever you're listening to this. Hit the little button thing, and we'll see you in the next episode. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Madness in the Method is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is hosted by Tobias Wedén and Christopher Billén. It is produced and directed by Tobias Wedén, after a concept by Christopher Billén. Executive producer is Annika Wedén. A huge thank you to all our supporters over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Laura Kinney, Mom, and Dad.